library is pleased to welcome back Westchester resident Michael Weitzman, who will share his experience with mental health in honor on Mental Health Awareness Month. Michael is a mental health inspirational, motivational, educational, memorable, humorous, and helpful speaker, performer, advocate, peer support specialist, and stand-up comedian. Please welcome Michael.
Thank you. Go Mike. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. I just want to let you know that we need to all take our masks off. Take our masks off to mental health conditions, mental health challenges, addiction, suicide, homelessness, because we have a major problem out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm trying to do something about it. Many people are suffering in silence, and many people are just suffering with their mental health, and a lot of them are not seeking help. So I have a workshop presentation today. I'm going to get into many different things. It's called the 3 Amigos of Mental Health. I'll get into in a second what are the 3 Amigos of Mental Health. And now I'm going to have like a 2-hour presentation in 1 hour. So here it goes. Now, just to let you know that if you didn't know, 1 out of 4 people in this world, especially in the United States, is suffering with a mental health condition. Do you hear what I just said? 1 out of 4. That's a lot of people. The question is, there's also another 1 out of 4, probably another 25% that are what? They're suffering in silence. They haven't come out of the mental health closet. They haven't sought help because of many different reasons, which we'll get into, and one of them is called stigma. Stigma is still big out there, and people are still afraid of the word mental illness. You will hear me say mental health condition, or mental injury, or mental health challenges. And this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the brain, and how we fix the brain, and how we show that it's no different than if you have a broken arm, but our society views it differently. So I'm trying to do something about it. I just want to introduce you my name. I changed it many years ago. I had to change it. My first name is Bip, B-I-P. My last name is Olar. So it used to be Bip, Olar, Bip, Olar. Bipolar means I used to have bipolar. I took the Bip and the Olar and broke it in half. I used to be my diagnosis. I was this depression, bipolar person. But now I'm Bip, Olar, no longer. And that's an amazing thing. So today, in the workshop presentation, the 3 Amigos of Mental Health, we're going to go from the bad stuff over here to the Wellness Toolbox and all the good stuff. So it's important to give you my story. And that's the key. I want to tell you the story so that you can understand what it tastes like and what it feels like when you have a mental health condition, addiction, suicide, whatever's going on with you. So, for me, Michael Weitzman, it started when I was 5 or 6 years old. At 5 or 6 years old, I don't know if anything ever happened to you, I used to stutter and had a lisp at the age of 5 and 6. Now, when you're 5 or 6, the kids are making fun of you. I learned all about bullying when I was 5 or 6 years old because they were making fun of me. I couldn't pronounce certain words, I was stuttering, I had a lisp, and it was traumatic, but thank God I got help from a speech pathologist, and I do not have any more stuttering or any lisp at this particular time. But that was traumatic back then at 5 and 6. Then I had a normal childhood, no different than anyone else, until the age of 16. At the age of 16, ladies and gentlemen, what do you normally are trying to do at the age of 16? You're going to get your license. That's what we all do. You get your license, maybe you'll get a new car, or you get a used car, maybe your dad will give you, whatever, or you'll use your parents' car. Well, unfortunately, at the age of 16, I failed my road test. But I didn't just fail it one time, and I didn't just fail it 2 times. I failed my road test 3 different times. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what failing a road test 3 different times can do to you when you want to go to parties, or you want to go to other places, and the first words they ask is, oh, did you get your license? And I did a lot of what? Called isolation, which people during the pandemic know all about, and still are dealing with some isolation at this time. That's one symptom of mental health conditions. And I had so much growing up at 16, failing the road test, I felt like a loser. I had no self-esteem. I was really just staying away from people. I lost interest. That was the start of my mental health condition at the age of 16. Now, what were some of the symptoms that I was going through? I mean, I was sad. I was unhappy. I used to worry all the time. I had stress. I had anxiety. I lost interest. I used to do this. This is my favorite one that I used to do. You know what that is? That's called beating yourself up. I did that so many times growing up. And I didn't get, and when I was 16, when it all started, I suffered in silence for over 25 years with my mental health condition. You hear what I just said? 25 years in silence where I didn't come out of the mental health closet. What else was I doing? I used to drive my car, and I used to think about just going into a pole. I had some suicide thoughts back then. There were so many other things. Fears. Oh, worthlessness. I had so many of these type of feelings. Angry. I would overreact to things. Why? Because I was going through a mental health condition, and I didn't like being sick. But I didn't work on getting well yet. That was going to come. That will come a little bit further on. Then I have good news for you, but these are all the bad stuff that happened to me where I suffered in silence for over 25 years. This is what it's called. I call it the ticking time bomb effect. I'd be feeling a little better, and then bang, the ticking time bomb would go off. I would still feel a little bit better, and then bang, the ticking time bomb would go off. And this happened over and over for 25 years of suffering in silence. Also, I call this the cave of hell. You know what the cave of hell is? This is what I want people to know what it tastes like and what it feels like to suffer. And suffer with your mental health condition, which I did. What's the cave of hell? I would lay in my bed, put the covers over my head, and what did I do all day? Absolutely nothing. When you're doing nothing and you're not keeping your mind and your body busy, you got a lot of different negative thoughts that can go creeping in your mind, which creeped into mine. And I suffered all these times. Eventually, yes, I did get a good job, but it didn't work. All the time, suffered in silence. I call it, and even though I suffered for 25 years, the next 15 years that I'm going to tell you, I was working on what I call the triangle. The triangle is, for the next 15 years, after the 25, I decided to do something about it and come out of the mental health closet. And what it is, I was able to see a psychiatrist, get meds, and see a talker, in my case, a therapist. I call that the triangle. But even with that time, and the 25 years of suffering in silence, and then 15 years on medicine, psychiatry, and basically a therapist, I was married with 2 young kids. I still had the same feeling as what this neon sign represents. I use props to make my point so it's more valuable with the words and the impact I can do with props to really show more. So the neon sign is, if you've ever suffered with a mental health condition, I would go to bed and I would pray to God. Oh God, please let me wake up in the morning. Let me wake up in the morning and not have depression or bipolar. Okay? Because that eventually is what I got diagnosed at. And guess what? I woke up in the morning and it was there. Just like a diner, open 24/7, like a neon sign. It didn't go away. My depression was was on for over 24 hours a day, just like the diner and the neon sign. So, you're getting the picture. I've had a lot of, like I said, sleeping in the bed, doing nothing. I was irritable. Just like I said, I beat myself up. I would just do all these types of things that you feel like when you feel depressed. And I just could not get better. 25 years suffering in silence, worked on coming out of the mental health closet, 15 years doing the medicine, psychiatry, and the talker. But let me put it this way, ladies and gentlemen. You got to understand something. When you're going through seeing a psychiatrist or seeing a therapist or taking medicine, the problem is that I couldn't find the right combination for 15 years. And what I call that is the Lay's potato chip syndrome. You know the slogan for Lay's? You just can't have just one psychiatrist, one type of therapist, or one type of medicine. I had to go through many different types to find the right one for 15 years. So that was what happened when I used the Lay's potato syndrome, because I couldn't find the right combination. So again, you're getting the picture. 25 years suffering in silence. I had a decent job, and then I worked in the mortgage industry. I was making lots of money. So how can you have mental health conditions when you're making lots of money, right? Has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do if you're homeless. You can get mental health conditions at any point in your life. So that's what it is for me. So I also, like I said, I got bullied when I was young, and then I suffered for those 15 years, and I'll get into the good part after those 40 years of suffering in silence with my mental health condition. So, do you know that 50% of mental health conditions start at the age of 14? You understand what I just said? That is incredible. So why aren't we introducing my own program, the 3 Amigos of Mental Health, to start them young? So they feel like when they have the bullying, or it's not just bullying, they just don't feel right, they don't feel affected, whatever it is, they're going through some anxiety and stress with school, exam. Start them early. If it all starts at 14, let's start early. Well, that's what I'm trying to do, to get into schools and high schools. So that's just some of the stuff that I told you. The ticking time bomb, the cave of hell, the neon sign. These are just some medicines that I've taken for over 40 years. So it's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I suffered in silence for so many years. And the feeling is the worst feeling in the world. I don't care what anyone says. When you suffer with your mental health condition and you cannot get and stay mentally well, it sucks. And sorry I have to say that, but it is. So here's something I want to just play for you. I want you to hear this person, and I want you to tell me what you hear. I want a little bit of, from you, what do you hear from this particular person? Pardon me.
Well, I just saw my favorite movie again, Mrs. Doubtfire. Because sometimes I feel that way, that if I can't get a job or deal with things, sometimes better, I will lose my kids. It is now Saturday, October 13th. It's not a good day. Trying hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you hear from that guy going through all those things? What do you hear?
Sadness.
Sadness.
Desperation.
Desperation. He even said he shouldn't have his kids anymore. To the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. This person was so sick. This was October 12th, 2012. That person is me. That was me. I recorded myself. I want you to understand what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it sounds like when you have a mental health condition. It's the worst feeling in the world. So, looks can be deceiving, huh? Look at me now, huh? I'm hot. I'm single. Well, maybe not. I met someone, so maybe not single anymore. But look at me. I look amazing, right? Look at me. I look great. Can you tell from my forehead that I was in 6 psychiatric hospitals? Can you tell? Can you tell that I had 22 ECT treatments? That's when they shock your brain to make you feel better. Really? Okay? What else? I was in 5 outpatient units. Four of them. What else? I had shingles on my face twice in 9 months. From what? Worrying. I don't care about this chickenpox thing. It still comes down to you worrying. When you worry, it's not good for your mental health or your physical health. What else? Besides that, also had suicide thoughts many times. Driving my car, and I'm thinking of going into that pole many different times. Because why? The depression and the bipolar did not go away. Like I said, the neon sign was open 24/7 like a diner. Ticking time bomb, like I said before, I would feel great, and then boom, the ticking time bomb would go off. And then laying in my bed doing nothing productive. I'll get into what I do for a living and how I'm helping others that way too, but this is the bad part of my life. 40 years, ladies and gentlemen, suffering in silence with mental illness. But there's one more thing that I did, and I will never forget the day. On January 2nd, 2008, I tried to take my life. I'm not going to tell you how or what I did, but I used these gloves in a way to take my life. Why? Because I couldn't get and stay mentally well. And that was in 2008. It went all the way to 2014. So from 1999 to 2014, I had a wife that was unsupportive. She said, if you take medicine and you go to a psychiatrist, I'm going to divorce you. She said, if you go to a psychiatric hospital, I've been to 6 of them, I'm going to divorce you. So I didn't have much support from my ex-wife, obviously, now. So the question is, what was it that finally, after suffering all these different things, it was basically what I want to share with you. This is very, very important. The most important thing is, on August 11th, 2014, Robin Williams did what he did. I call it Lewy body dementia, and suicide took Robin Williams' life. I am in the mental health field because of Robin Williams. I got very sick from August 11th all the way to October 16, 2014. This was a present from my kids from last Father's Day. I framed it. It was a note. And the note knows, it says on the note, keep on crushing the mental health field. Happy Father's Day. You inspire so many people, and you are so great at what you do. Hope it gives you a little reminder of why you started in the first place. They know it's because of Robin Williams I got incredibly sick and went into my 6th psychiatric hospital. This is the baby from Patch Adams. This is the baby. This is Robin Williams' most amazing movie ever made, Patch Adams. So, Robin Williams, so dear to my heart, loved him so much as a mentor, comedian, actor, underrated actor. He did what he did, and I got so sick, I went into my 6th psychiatric hospital. October 16, and you can see it right here on the bag. This was right from a psychiatric hospital 7.5 years ago. Got the dates on it, and when I got discharged. Pretty amazing, huh? I went in, but this time, I don't know why, I've been believing in God, even believing in Jesus as well. But something happened when I went into this psychiatric hospital. My sixth one on October 16, 2014, after Robin did what he did, and something said, God, he made me sick for a purpose. I used to say, why? Why can't I get mentally well after 40 years of suffering and suffering in silence? But there's a reason. So at this point, I had an aha moment. I had a divine intervention. And what happened is I came up with the 3 Amigos of mental health while I was in a psychiatric hospital as an inpatient. You understand? Similar to the movie Patch Adams. So I came up with these things. I came up with certain stuff I'm going to go over with you in a minute. And I'm going to get into the Wellness Toolbox. This is so important. I even written on the board. It's so important. So I came up with a workshop to have fun with your mental health. Not make fun. Have fun. Tell your story. Tell your struggles. Everyone. Whether it's mental health. Whether it's addiction. Whether it's suicide. And suicide thoughts. Tell your stories and work on your recovery. And never give up, which I didn't do. So, Robin Williams was very big in my life. So I came up with the 3 Amigos of mental health. Right here. Worked, most importantly, getting rid of this stigma. This stigma is still out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's gotten a little better. It's May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, but we're not even close to where we need to be. And I want to smash that stigma. When you walk down the road and you have a broken arm, it needs time to heal. The same with the brain. And sick, I'm tired of the society's view when someone's mentally ill. Like they're a monster. They're not a monster. And I went over this, and I'll go over it again. So I go into a workshop about most important, whether it's mental health, addiction, or suicide, dealing with acceptance and opening up about how you feel so you can work on your recovery. And then the most thing we'll get into in a second is the wellness tools, baby. That's the key. And then I'll get into the other big one, which is humor. But the point is, these are the things I worked on in a psychiatric unit, and I came up with certain things which I'll do for you in a second. I'll do for you now. I just partnered, I don't know if you know, I just partnered with Wrigley's, and I just came up with Bipolar Gum. You see? I have Bipolar Gum, it's out on the streets. I have it all in the system. Bipolar Gum is out there, and I have some for you. Here you go. I have some for you. I'm not going to hurt you. Here you go. Here you go. Here's one for you. And let's go for the cameraman. There we go. Beautiful catch. But the point is, so I came up with Bipolar Gum. So now you can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. That's right. You can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. But don't worry. Each stick comes with free hospitalization, ECT treatments, and permission to run naked in your local shopping mall. I've done that 3 times. So show up, ladies and gentlemen. And I got Schizophrenia Gum coming out next week. What's the point? Have fun with your mental health. Work on recovery. I'm not making fun just because I have Bipolar Gum. It's about having fun. And that's how I educate through education and awareness to talk about these tough subjects. You got to understand, this is so important. This is so important. So, this is the other thing that I get into. The most important thing is, what is it that got me to finally get and stay mentally well? What are you taking? Well, I'll be honest with you, I finally found the right combination. Remember the Lays? The right combination. I'm not telling you type of medicine. It's different for everybody. It works differently. But I got a decent type of medicine. I got a nice psychiatrist, a nice therapist. So that helped with support. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. You've got to have support. Support from your family and friends. Support from your loved ones. Support from your employers. Whatever the case may be. Whether you're suffering in silence or suffering diagnosed. It doesn't make a difference. So, when I was in that workshop, I came up with the 3 B's of mental health, and I said, Michael, come up with the wellness tools from the Wellness Toolbox. Here's the Wellness Toolbox. What's in that Wellness Toolbox is the things that I'm taking and doing now. I would put the to-do list together when I was really sick, but at least I would cross it off. I took a shower, took a walk. I kept myself busy, mentally and physically. I journal. I yoga. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I yoga, okay? Don't make fun of me. I yoga. What else I do? I do meditation, deep breathing exercises, affirmations, a creed, prayer, God, Jesus, Bible, church, acupuncture, hypnosis, nutrition, walks on the beach, the smell of aroma from a candle. There are so many wellness tools that you can use with the triangle. Remember? Psychiatrist, meds, and the talker. So, I use all these. Now, I'm weaned off a lot of it. I see a psychiatrist once a year. I don't see a therapist. I became my own coach, counselor, peer support specialist. That's who I am. I don't need a therapist. I'm helping other people now. And then, of course, I take very little medicine just to go to sleep. Now, you have to talk to your doctor. I'm not telling people to stop taking your medicine and wean off. But it's good if you can do the triangle, like I said, and then do some wellness tools. Once you can watch sports, listen to great music, go dancing. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with your medicine, psychiatry, and talker, what you're going through. And then maybe you talk to your therapist or your psychiatrist, and you can take less or see less of those people. So that's the Wellness Toolbox. There's so many things that you can do in there. Another one is watch great movies, like I said before. Patch Adams, amazing movie. Robin Williams is a genius in that movie. Good Will Hunting, another great movie. And I go into that movie because this is one of the biggest problems, ladies and gentlemen. You see this? People that are suffering with their mental health condition, addiction, and suicide, they're worried about, they think that the shame that they suffer, or they feel guilty that they suffer, or they believe, like in the movie Good Will Hunting, he says it 10 times to Matt Damon, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And that's the key, ladies and gentlemen. It's not your fault if you're suffering with a mental health condition, addiction, or suicide. But if you're not working on your recovery, it could be your fault that you're not doing anything about fixing it and working to recover and try to stay mentally well or addiction-free or not misusing medicine or get rid of those suicide attempts or thoughts. That's really important. So the Wellness Toolbox, very important. Now, we're going to go into the most important reason that I came up with, the 3 B's of mental health, is the Wellness Toolbox, but the biggest wellness toolbox of them all is humor. Humor. Laughter and smiles. And the reason why, there's so many good reasons why you want to have humor and laughter and smiles in your life. The serotonin gets released from your brain. The dopamine gets released. That's that fuzzy feeling, that warm feeling. You feel great. What else? The endorphins that lifts your mood. You start feeling great about yourself and stuff of that nature. It's fantastic. What else? It boosts your immune system using humor for your mental or physical health. What else? It dulls and kills the pain. It alleviates stress and anxiety. What else? It's a natural beauty enhancer. Look, just kidding on that one. It produces empathy. It's contagious. I start laughing, you start laughing. That's fantastic. What else? It's increased intention. It's the way to success for a job interview. Appropriate humor you can use nowadays. But it better be appropriate. What else? Most importantly, it increases your productivity. I know the company Amazon needs me to speak for them. 1 out of 4 people from Amazon suffers with a mental health condition. Because it says that in the United States. So they can be more productive if they're getting help, they're working on recovery, they finally come out of the mental health closet or addiction or suicide. And most importantly, humor, laughter, and smiles will make you live a longer life. Here's my mask. See my mask for COVID? Again, Patch Adams, baby. But do you know, and I want to ask the audience, do you know how many times a 4-year-old laughs and smiles during the day? Does anyone have an idea? Anybody? Want to take a chance?
50.
How many? 50? Wow, that's a lot. Well, unfortunately, you're wrong. The answer is that a 4-year-old will laugh and smile anywhere from 300 to 400 times a day. Watch a 4-year-old. They're having a ball. Do you know how many times a 40-year-old laughs and smiles during the day? Anywhere between 2 and 14 or 13 times. That's it. So what's the point? You've got to have more humor, laughter, and smiles in your life. You'll make you live longer. Don't kill the pain. It's so important. You've got to have humor. So, leading to, does anyone here know, anyone been on any type of dating sites? You ever heard of Matchmd? If you're married, don't raise your hand. I don't want to know that you're cheating. There you go. We got another one. Well, let me tell you something. Have you ever heard of Match.com? You've heard of Match.com, right? Yeah. Well, they have another site that's called Matchmd.com, and that's for people that have mental disorders. So on the normal site, I find a woman that has blonde hair and blue eyes and likes to dance. But on this other site, I find a woman that pees a lot, has mood swing problems, and anger management issues. You know what? I'm in love. I'm in love. And we're going unsteady. You get it? Unsteady. Because what? Have fun with your mental health. Don't make fun. Have fun. So these are all the things that I go into. You know, I don't understand why you can't have fun, even if you are suffering with addiction, suicide thoughts, and your mental health condition. You can still have a life. But you've got to work on your recovery. And you've got to use this idea that I came up with, is the wellness tool from the Wellness Toolbox, and of course, humor. That's the whole thing. So I always look at it, all life experiences come with struggles and disappointments. Would you agree? Doesn't matter. Everyone here, our life experiences, we have struggles and disappointments. But the point is how you deal with them and how you work with them. That will really, what will it do? It will basically, how you deal with them is, it will determine your incredible, it will determine your amazing strength and your incredible triumphs. I'm having so many triumphs right now because I am mentally well now for over 7.5 years, right out of a psychiatric hospital. Came up with a workshop, and I haven't looked back. And I'll tell you other things. But these are just some of the things. You know, I used to be a door-to-door salesman. Boy, did that teach me about rejection. Oh yeah, I was married too. That also taught me about rejection. Those two things. I learned about rejection. But now, if I have struggles and disappointments and rejection, especially being 8 months on a dating site, do you know how many rejections I've gotten? And it doesn't affect me mentally or physically. It makes me write more comedy material. So that's just a little bit about that. I told you before, I want you to have fun with your mental health. Don't make fun, have fun. Wayne Dyer, I love Wayne Dyer. This I got to bring up. What you think of me is really none of my business. Get rid of the your. Wayne Dyer, self-improvement tapes. Wellness Toolbox. He died several years ago. He says, I'm not better than you. I'm just better than I used to be. That's what we should do in our society. We don't need to be better than anyone or have a bigger house, a better looking girl, or whatever. Doesn't matter. And my best one is, it's better to be kind instead of being right. Better be kind instead of being right. So, in the movie, as I said to you before, with Patch Adams, you've got to go watch that movie. I've seen it 8 times. It reminds me of my own story. Patch Adams wanted to help people with not mental health, but mainly medically. He wanted to be a medical doctor. I wanted to be a motivational, inspirational, mental health speaker, performer, advocate, and keynote, and stand-up comedian. Those are my titles. As a trained and certified peer support specialist and care coordinator, I work in St. Vincent's Hospital right here in Harrison, New York. But watching Patch Adams, you're going to find that you treat a disease, you win or lose. But when you treat a person, I guarantee you always win. And that's what we need to do more of. We need to do these things. When that's what it's all about. And what is it all about? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to help and improve everyone's quality of life regarding mental health, addiction, and suicide. So, it's all about mental, right? Here it is. Here's my brain. I took it out for you today. Here's the brain, right? The brain. So, when you have, you need to have what? Mental joy. So I have some mental joy for you right here. Here's some mental joy for you. Here's mental joy for you. I'm a really good thrower. I'm going to throw right at you. There you go. And here's one for the pastor. Mental joy. So next time you see an almond joy, you'll think of mental joy. This is what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Improving the quality of life of people. And in the movie, the doctor wrote that he had excessive happiness, that Patch Adams did, that Robin Williams played. That's what it is. And again, like certain jokes when I do for the kids. Why is Tigger always checking the toilet? You know why the Tigger's always checking the toilet? Because he's looking for poo. I do these jokes at churches. I do the jokes at temples. I do it at assisted living places. I do it at nursing homes. Another thing is very big. You ever seen the movie Moonstruck? You know Moonstruck?
Oh, my favorite.
Remember when? Great movie, right? But the best part of that movie is when Cher hits Nicholas in the face and says, "Snap out of it." Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I was able to snap out of it after I suffered in silence 25 and then 15, 40 years, you think I'd do it? Of course. It's not easy. Don't tell someone that suffers from mental health conditions to snap out of it, okay? They might snap at you. Trust me. They don't know what it tastes like. I'm trying to get you to get the feeling, what I suffered, what I struggled back here. But now we're at the good part. There's a great book I recommend. I have sheets of paper at the end I want you to grab. A book called The 4 Agreements. Read The 4 Agreements. Only 140 pages. The two most ones are, be impeccable with your word. So if you're driving and someone cuts you off, why do you have to yell at their mother and start using the finger? That's not being impeccable. Impeccable means without sin. And the best thing is, don't take anything personally. I don't. Since I've been on dating sites for 8 months, I take none of that personally. Another thing. Now, the word hope is an interesting word in my life because I always said my ex-wife's name is Hope. So I always thought it was going to be hopeful, but it became hopeless. But my definition of hope is fantastic. Helping other people every day. That's my definition of hope. Or having opportunities perform effectively. So remember, we're still in the pandemic. Hopefully more of the tail end than the worst stuff in 2020. We still have to deal with that. And deal with the isolation that was very prevalent in 2020, a little bit in 2021, and still in 2021, and a little bit now. So we got to do something. And again, it's all about what? It's all about acceptance and opening up. I want people to come out, say, I'm not afraid to say that I suffer with a mental health condition. I'm going to work on my recovery. I'm going to see a psychiatrist. I'm going to take the wellness tools that Michael recommend. Very important. And regarding what I was saying about dating sites, which is pretty interesting, I've been on 5 dating sites. I went out with many different women for the first time, or even one for 2 times. We're not going to name who that person is in the room. But the point is, while I was meeting these women, and unfortunately it didn't work out with these women that I went out with, many for just 1 date, I started helping them or their sons and daughters with their mental health. And I'm still doing that with so many people now. Tells you how prevalent mental health conditions. I put it in my profile. Yes, I put it in that I'm a motivational, inspirational, mental health speaker, performer, advocate, peer support specialist, care coordinator, and stand-up comedian. That's what I do. So, talking about the marriage that I had, let me tell you about marriage. Anybody in the office that's either married or used to be married or might want to still get married? Everybody's raising their hand. You're married. Hello? He's married. He's just not saying. I don't know why. But let me tell you something. Marriage is an amazing institution. There is nothing better. There is nothing better. Marriage is the most amazing institution. But you know what? My marriage made me go into a new institution. And I got the toiletry bags to prove it. That was my ex-wife. Remember Hope? Remember her? So, what is it all about? It's about having a program, the 3 Amigos of Mental Health, that I make it, what do? I make it cool. I make it fun. I make it engaging. I make it interactive. I make it humorous. I make it sexy to talk about mental health, tell my stories, and show you can get mentally well. You still can get mentally well. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's really one of the things. I have movies, I said, watch Patch Adams, watch Good Will Hunting. Another great movie, Silver Lining Playbook. It's a bipolar love story. The 4 Agreements, the book, I recommend. Those are all there. Everything I'm telling you. Great movie called Pay It Forward. And like I said to you, I'm a trained and certified peer support specialist, which means I tell my stories, my struggles, so that I can relate. I'm a relatable resource. That's what makes me different, and in some cases even better. That I can relate to my audience. Because I'm not saying anything wrong with psychiatrists, therapists, doctors. They're all good people, but I went through hell. I suffered with my mental health. I misused medicine, suicide attempts, suicide thoughts, and I can really help so many more people that are struggling because I went through it, and I got mentally well for 7.5 years. Another thing, I told you, I'll say it again. This is so important. The shame's got to end. You don't want to feel guilty, and you got to say it's not your fault. People feel it's your fault if you have an addiction or suicide thoughts and stuff. It's crazy. It's all about how you get and stay mentally well. But most importantly, I forgot to tell you, what is the 3 Amigos of mental health? Nothing like a little Jewish guy that believes in Jesus wearing a sombrero. What is it about? What is it about? The 3 Amigos of mental health. The first amigo is someone that is suffering with their mental health condition. The second amigo of mental health is someone that is suffering in silence. And the third amigo of mental health is someone that is not suffering. So the people that are not suffering with their mental health or addiction or suicide, I go to them and say, congratulations, mazel tov. Good for you. But the problem is, a lot of the people that are not suffering don't want to know what it tastes like or what it feels like to suffer with a mental health condition. And that's my job to do what? Education and awareness. So they can be more understanding and supportive and loving to the friends and family that are in their families that are suffering. And we need to get all the 3 amigos of mental health to support and love each other and be what? Friends. So there'll be a quiz at the end if you remember that. And most importantly, I said this before, what is it about? It's all about the brain, right? It's all about the brain. So I have stuff here. Keep your hands ready. Here you go. Here you go. Keep your hands. Work for you. Here's the cameraman. Here you go. We got brains for you. Stress brains that you could use wherever you go in case you have any stress. Do you know also that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States? 55,000 people, and that was in 2019. I have not gotten from the pandemic. It's got to be even higher because everything is skyrocketed from the pandemic. Suicide, addiction, and mental health conditions, suicide, and addictions all skyrocketed. So those are bad. It's the 2nd leading cause of death in colleges. You hear what I just said? The 2nd leading cause of death, suicide. It's ridiculous. And I never say someone committed suicide. I don't say that. I say suicide took somebody's life. Like I tried to take my life. But suicide tried to take my life. That's what it's all about. What do we have? We have Anthony Bourdain, we have Kate Spade, and of course Robin Williams. There's so many people that have done this, and it's terrible. And I don't want anyone to have suicide thoughts or suicide attempts, and that's why I got to get the program out there for everybody, not just mental health areas or just regular organizations or high schools and colleges and middle schools. It doesn't make a difference. We need to talk about how you feel and what you can eventually, what it feels like and what you can do about it, and that's what it be. So that's a little bit. Now, I just want to get into just one little thing. Anybody here, this is really weird. Imagine, this is amazing. There's an organization called Bring Change to Mind. Glenn Close, daughter has bipolar. And it has a little flyer. It says, imagine if you got blamed for having cancer. Think about what I just said. Imagine if you got blamed for having cancer. But why are we getting blamed for having a mental health condition or having addiction or having suicide thoughts? It doesn't make any sense. That has to stop. So I told you, this is another thing. You know that having bipolar is really bad. I mean, if you don't, you do heard that having bipolar is really bad. But let me tell you something. Since I've had bipolar, it's been great. It's been great. I focus really well. I'm really creative, very creative. I have an incredible long sex drive. I really do. I have an incredible long sex drive. Yeah, I have to drive 60 miles to see my girlfriend. Sex drive. Okay, what is it about? Have fun with your mental health. Don't make fun, have fun. Now, what are some of the myths? You know some of the myths regarding mental health? That it's contagious. Here, I'll go right to the cameraman. It's contagious. Look, right here. Right here. I touch him. Now, he's got bipolar. You can't get bipolar from touching someone or fooling around with someone or chewing bipolar gum. It doesn't work that way. They say it's weakness. No, it's not. I just went over that already. It's strength. When you go and get help and you work on your recovery, that's called strength. If you're not doing anything about it, that's the problem. And you've got to keep your mind and your body busy all the time. It leads to violence. That's ridiculous. Everybody that does something bad, it's just people doing bad things. It's not always because of their mental health. You can never get better. I did. I got mentally well for over 7.5 years. You can help someone suffering. That's why I do my workshop, baby. It's therapeutic for me to tell my bad stuff, my stories, and help others. It's in the Bible. How may I serve? It's uncommon. Just told you, 25% suffer with a mental health condition. It's all your fault. No, it's not. We went over that with Good Will Hunting. He said it 10 times to Matt Damon, Robin Williams. It's all in your head. Duh. We know that it's in your head. It could be bad childhood, genetics, trauma, circumstances, bad brain chemistry, environmental. There's so many different reasons. In my life, nobody in my family had mental health conditions. Mine was situational. Stuttered, failed my road test 3 times. That got me very sick. Very sick. So even in this room, how many people in this room either have or knows of someone that has a mental health condition? Guys, everyone raise your hand. It's usually I get between 90 to 95%. It's unbelievable. Have you ever heard the starfish story? Starfish story? This will make this quick. The starfish story is all about basically little boys. All the starfish are flying, going on the shore. Tons of them. So the little boy is taking the starfish and he's throwing them back in the ocean. So a guy comes by and says, wait a minute, how are you able to help every single one of these starfishes by throwing them in the ocean? You can't do every one. So he takes one starfish, throws it in the ocean, says, but I made a difference in that one. So if I can make a difference with one person in this room, and keep doing that and multiply it, then I'm doing God's work. And that's very important to me. Also, the word care. Know my definition of care? That's when you hear these passionate words coming out of my mouth. I care. I want to help you. I want to educate you. I want you to stay and be mentally well, not have to deal with addiction and suicide. Care, in my book, is it's all about considerate, affectionate, real effort. That's my definition. I'm trying to change it in the dictionary, the what's it called? The Webster Dictionary. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but that's a better one. your considerate, affectionate, real effort. We need to do more of that. We need to do that more. Whether it's a doctor talking to a patient, just like in the movie Patch Adams, in the movie, they say, there's a patient, she's diabetes. That's her name, diabetes. So Robin Williams, which is Patch Adams, comes over and says, but what's her name? What's her name? And that's the thing, you want to do that. It's so important. Never give up. I never gave up. I never give up. Can you tell that I have a disability? I have hearing aids. I don't hear that well because it's a hearing aid. It's not called hearing 100%. So I have a disability. And I used to have a mental disability. But now I'm mentally well. For 7.5 years, have not looked back. Like I said, I make it cool, fun, and sexy to talk about mental health. I'm using all my passion in giving value in helping others with their mental health, addiction, and suicide. That's what it's all about. So for me, I always do certain things. This one, did you hear about the butcher that backed into the meat grinder? It was on the news when I got in here. You hear about the butcher that backed into the meat grinder? He got a little behind in his work. It's cute. It's not dirty. What is it about? Have fun with your mental health. Don't make fun. Have fun. So I see him. Have any more toys to send you? No more toys. Oh yeah, we got one at the end. And then it's all about, listen, I've had so many setbacks in my life. I've had suicide attempt, major depression, no money, no job, terrible marriage, auto accident. I'm still here. And I worked on my recovery and never gave up. And that's what you can do too. And that's what I'm doing out there in the world. Then, do you remember what the 3 Amigos were again? Without looking at the sign, you can tell. What the 3 Amigos of mental health. The first amigo is someone that is suffering with a mental health condition, right? The second one is someone that is, again, suffering in silence. And the third one is someone that doesn't suffer, that unfortunately is contributing too much to the stigma, and now I'm trying to educate them through education awareness so they can be more loving and supportive to the friends that do suffer. So, here's one for you. I also auditioned 4 years in a row for America's Got Talent. And my character's name is Mrs. Staying Alive. There she is. She's a beauty. Mrs. Staying Alive. You see her? Well, you're going to see more of her if I get on TV. But Mrs. Staying Alive. Who is Mrs. Staying Alive? It's Patch Adams meets Mrs. Dotfire. My little tribute to the amazing what? Robin Williams. And it's all about, my little tribute to Robin Williams, it's all about getting rid of the stigma of mental health conditions by using humor, remember, as my biggest wellness tool, out of the Wellness Toolbox. And who is she also about? She's all about equality, equity, diversity, and inclusion, no matter what you look like, even as beautiful as me, doesn't matter whether you have a mental health condition or not, if you have addiction or not, or you misuse medicine or not, you have suicide thoughts or not, you have a disability or not, you have cancer or not, or you're elderly, we are all what? We're all created equal. And I don't see it in this world, and I'm doing something about equality for all. So, my presentation is getting close to the end. It's all about discovery to recovery, then recovery to discovery. I can't tell you how mentally well I feel so amazing that I'm helping so many people. I'm working to get nationally known, worldly known. I have someone that he might be doing a documentary on me that could open things up. I can get on Good Morning America, get on Dr. Oz, get on the places so I can start using the 3 Amigos of Mental Health, my workshop presentation for everyone out there. The 3 Amigos of Mental Health, wellness tools, humor. This is what it's all about. And what are my resources? You have NAMI, you have MHA, you have all different types of psychiatric hospitals, and you have all these different clinics. You have all kinds of therapists, psychiatrists. There's so many out there, and you have me as a relatable resource that can help you because I've been to hell and back, and now I'm doing great. Look at this. This was from the hospital. Check this out. So it's amazing. I took this, and I'll give you this in a second, but I'm also working on my book, the 3 Amigos of Mental Health book. Hopefully get a documentary out. I'm working on many different ways to help to speak at schools, high school, colleges, middle school. I spoke at the Girl Scouts recently with their mental health, ages 5 to 13. I can connect with them. I just won't bring up the sex drive joke, but everything else is cool. And the most important thing is, right now, I consider myself a lifesaver. And here are some lifesavers for you. Lifesavers for you. Lifesavers for you. And lifesavers for you. I'm a lifesaver. So, what I'm going to do now, I just want to show you. I know you're excited, but if this is the bag, if you want to, this is the bag from my 6th psychiatric hospital on October 16, 2014. Discharged October 29, 2014. I have not looked back. And I look at it, you see this blanket here? You see this blanket? It says New York Presbyterian. I got this when I discharged on the 29th. And this is, you think just a blanket? I don't consider it a blanket, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it basically a cape. And the reason I consider it a cape, if I can put it around nicely, the reason I call it a cape is because it's all about what? Remember, people could have something on their back that says, kick me. And then someone, why is everyone kicking me? And someone puts a sign that says, kick me. Well, this is my cape, like Superman. And my cape is all about what? Let me help and let me save your life with your mental health, addiction, and suicide. And the last thing I will say with my cape, and I'll put my glasses back on so I can see you, is the last part of my presentation is adios. Adios.
Amigos.
Wrong. Adios. Mental health conditions, addiction, suicide, whatever's going on with you. And that is my program, the 3 Amigos of Mental Health. I have paperwork over there. Thank you, love you, and stay mentally well and enjoy your life.
That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Have any questions?
Do you have any of the movies that you would recommend?
Yeah, I got all the movies. I have the books to read, the 4 Agreements, all the movies to watch that are very inspirational. I love inspirational movies. I love motivational movies. This is what I do. I'm a motivational, inspirational speaker as well, but really heavily into the mental health field and a little bit of addiction and suicide. And most importantly, yes, this is the most important thing. The Wellness Toolbox. Use the wellness tools and use humor as your biggest wellness tool. It will make you live a longer life. I know that. We have comedians that live so long. What's it? You got Bob Hope lived to 100. You got Milton Berle, all these people. I don't know if you can, but it sure can help. It will help you with the endorphins and everything else. So I say to you, please, if you need my help, you got cards over there. I'm a relatable resource. Anybody you know, you let me know. Any places that I can speak and perform, I will do my workshop, and I will help them as much as I can, like I helped you. Yes?
I have a question. You mentioned that you were helping women whom you dated. And
From the dating side.
Yeah, and their kids. But what kind of help? Like, if the person is suffering, are you referring to some doctors? Or
I give them their choices who they want to go to. The baby that I'm trying to push is to say, try to find the right psychiatrist, try to find the right therapist, try to try the right medicine if that's what you want to do. But let's start using some of the wellness tools, man. Try using meditation, mindfulness, yoga, walks around the beach, nutrition, inspirational movies, inspirational books, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, I can go in, there's 4 agreements, Miguel Ruiz, all these things about not taking things personally. There's so many things that you can do, and this is what I do, and I'm so mentally well, but I'm not going to forget where I came from, and I feel this is therapeutic to me to tell that I suffered for so long, and now I have my story that is relatable, and now I can help so many more people that are struggling right now. And I want to be nationally known and worldly known, not for the money. If I get a little bit of shekels, great. It's about having a bigger platform. So instead of helping 1 or hundreds or 1,000, I want to help billions of people here in the United States and around the world. And that's my goal.
Bravo.
All right? Free Amigos of Mental Health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. That was fantastic. Well, fantastic.
Get this off and
Michael, when you get that off, do you have any red noses?
what?
Thank you,
So when you get that off, do you have any red noses?
That
Can't hear you.
was
Do you have any red noses?
Not like that. That's a good one.
I didn't know if you were throwing any out. You didn't throw
All I
any
got
out?
is these.
Yeah, you didn't throw them out. That's why I was
No,
pointing.
no, I didn't throw them out.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.